Hey, and welcome to the Crew Podcast. We are the hottest podcast rocking right now. We are currently looking for 6 amazing hosts to join our family for season 2 that will kick off February the 1st, 2024. If you're looking for an opportunity to allow your voice, your perspective, and your brand to be heard around the world and seen around the world, then join the Crew Podcast.
Are you tired of the burden of past financial mistakes weighing you down? Look no further than
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International superstar, Miss Mother.
5, 4, 3.
International superstar, Miss Mother B. Rocco.
Hello everyone, my name is Olethea Robinson, professionally known as Butter B. Rocca. I'm an international recording artist, film director, producer, screenwriter, and actress. I'm a 2-time best-selling author and playwright, as well as the host of Transparency Talks podcast, which airs on 6 syndicated international stations in London, Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Africa, and Canada. I'm also a model. I've had the pleasure of working with Kanye West, Janet Jackson, TLC, Akon, Nas, Collective Soul, Zac Brown, to name a few. I was recently featured on Billboard's Hip Hop magazine. I was also a guest speaker at the SAVE Summit and was added to the Billboard, which was featured in Times Square with Miss Lynn Whitfield, MC Lyte, Mark Cuban, and Gene Simmons from KISS. I performed at the City Gala with Wesley Snipes, Randy Jackson, Mario Lopez, and Les Brown. And afterwards, Mr. Brown became my mentor, and I worked for him for 8 months as his personal assistant. I also performed at the LA2 with Jack Black, Alyssa Milano, Sheila E., Bootsy Collins, and I came on after the legendary Miss Dionne Warwick. Last, I am the CEO, founder of Artists Rock the Mic Foundation. My mission is to bring creatives together in the music, film, and entertainment industries to impact change in the communities across the world. We work to encourage and advocate through the influences of the arts. We strive to integrate educational programs, benefit concerts, and charitable drives, giving back to the homeless college students. That's a little bit about myself, and I look forward to working with you.
Hey everybody, this is Black Diamond from the Crew Network, and you're listening to Basic Black After Dark Podcast, the show that meets you where you are and gives you what you ask for. You know, when I was growing up, I had big dreams of being an international judge, but life happened. And now I'm a social worker, an author, and parenting 12 children. Now, some people dream of being an actress, singer, model, or author. Well, tonight I'm talking to a woman who is doing it all and doing big things. You heard from her earlier during the intro, so I don't have to introduce her, but I will. I just love saying her name. Please welcome Butter B. Rocca to Basic Black After Dark.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Oh no, thank you for being here tonight. I was so excited. I think I was trying to bite my nails, like, oh my gosh, she's going to be here. And I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am just so happy that you're here.
I
But
appreciate
Butterby Rocka, how did you get that name? Because I've been talking about it all week.
the name. They used to call me Butter in Tampa. Said I had a really smooth voice and everything, light spoken and stuff like that. And then when I was sing, they said it was real creamy and smooth, right? And then when I started doing backgrounds in the studio with TLC, they started calling me B Rocka. And so when I put out my album, I just decided to merge the two because Butter be rocking.
You're more than a triple threat. You're a two-time best-selling author, international recording artist, executive film director, producer, screenwriter, songwriter, model, and actress. Now, I saw them shots and I love them. You are the
Thank
host of Transparency Talks. You're editor and chief of a teen magazine. I definitely want to know about that. And the CEO and founder of a nonprofit, Artists Rock the Mic Foundation, along with BBR Media Group. With all that you're doing besides being talented, how could you describe yourself in 5 words?
Oh Lord. Creative, 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 creative. That's just me. Like
Love it.
I it, I believe that if you can see it in your mind, then it's meant for you to do because that's the blueprint. God gives us all visions, and everything that you see around us was formed by someone thinking of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so even if I don't reach that goal, I'm going to still go for it. So,
Wow. And you've
yeah,
been going for it.
I
So
have. I have.
when was your big break?
My big I started in music when I was 13. In Tampa, Florida. We started doing I was in a female girl group with my cousins and some friends from school, and we started doing different talent shows and stuff like that. I would consider that to be the first break, you know. And I come from that era of when it was artist development, the boys to men and everything, your
Okay.
dance moves, your harmonies, everything had to be in sync and your clothes matched and, real precise on the dance moves and, intricate parts and stuff like that. So I come from that era. I know I'm telling my age. But that was when I knew that this was something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And we just started pursuing it then. From then on, my mom was my manager at the time,
Smart move.
and she's one of those ladies that, you know, she's gonna push you, and she's gonna, if it's something that you really want to do, she's gonna support you 100%. So, you know, when you have somebody like that behind you that believes in
Mhm.
you that much, that just gives you that extra push, to keep going.
Well, I'm glad she pushed you. I am so happy that she did. If you were given an ultimatum to give up one thing that you do, what would you choose and why would you choose it?
Um, if I had to give up one from books, films, and music,
Yeah.
it would probably be books.
Oh.
Yeah, it would probably be books if I had to give it up. But here's the irony of that. I'm still able to write in my songs and I'm still able to write in the films.
Right.
So I wouldn't be losing, you know what I mean?
All right.
It would just be one of the formats of it, but I wouldn't lose in that aspect.
Now, I can't help but compliment you on your beautiful voice. Your song, Time Stands Still. I love it.
Thank
It is,
you.
it
Thank
is
you.
so unique. It is smooth, light. It's like butter.
I appreciate that. That song is real near and dear to me. I was about to get married,
Oh,
and for the first time in my life, I've been married before, and he's been married before. But when we got together, neither one of us was looking for a relationship, and it
mhm.
just sort of happened. And I wrote that song for him. So, that was really special for me. And then I ended up singing it to him on national TV. We did a TV show. The show hasn't came out yet, but we did it. We ended up doing a TV show with our family, and I sung it to him live. So
I love it. It is so smooth. I'm saying, if you haven't heard it yet, You really need to hear it because when I say it's smooth, it's smooth. What is your style?
You know, my style changes, my style flows because like when I go overseas, pop is
Mhm.
more well received, but I like pop, I like R&B, and I'm now about to do a gospel album. So my
Oh,
style changes. I actually don't want to be labeled as, oh, she only sings this, this
right.
genre.
Mhm.
So I'm cool with being, fluent in all styles. But right now, my first album is called Switch Lanes, and I named it that intentionally because in that you have multiple genres. So I go from pop, I do a little soft rock, and then I also do R&B. And like I said, right now I'm about to do my very first gospel album as well. So.
Oh wow, I can't wait. I can't wait. I could just imagine if it's anything like what I've heard already and what I've been listening to, you got yourself a fan right here.
I appreciate it. I'm really excited because like I want to get, real religious and everything, but for a long time I was kind of like running from the church, and I thought that you couldn't do both, but God knows my heart and everything. And so I'm ready to do both. So
I
I'm
think
ready.
it's going to be fantastic. You've worked with many celebrities, as you mentioned, Kanye West, TLC, Nas, Akon, Bootsy Collins, and Janet Jackson, just to name a few. What was it like working with them, and who were you most surprised to work with?
When I got the phone call to come to the studio to work with Janet, that was really dope. I mean, I was really excited about that one. She's really soft spoken and everything. I only got a chance to work with her one time, but that's one time I would never forget in my life. Um, and when I worked with Collective Soul, I really enjoyed them as well. I did a couple of songs on their album, and they're an amazing Grammy award winning rock group. And they just I did the backgrounds and everything, and they let me put my own melody, and my own style to it. So I like that as well.
Well, I hope you don't mind me saying it because I almost slipped up and said you were a Grammy Award winner too, because I said that song has to be. It
I'm
has to be.
claiming that. We can put that in the atmosphere
Yeah,
because that is one of the things that I'm
yep, there we
working
go.
for.
That's why I felt when I heard it, and I had to listen to it again. And I know my kids was probably saying, "Mom, you listening to that again?" Look, when you get older, you'll appreciate it. That's all I can say to them. You'll appreciate. You were also featured in my hometown, New York City, on the Billboard in Times Square. How did you
Yeah.
feel looking over New York City?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I was on the panel with Mark Cuban and Gene
Mhm.
Simmons from the group Kiss. Then they took it even further than that and put me on the billboard about the event. So now I'm on there with Lynn Whitfield, MC Light, Ellis Hall. I mean, I was like, oh my God, to be featured amongst all of those amazing artists and actors was surreal for me.
Oh wow! I could just imagine Times Square, all of them. Oh gosh! Artists Rock the Mic is your nonprofit organization. Is it a mentoring program for local artists?
It is not what we do. I'm not opposed to that, but what we do is I throw different concerts. We work with indie artists and we also work with national recording artists, and
Hmm.
we throw events and we get back to the college homeless students. We was doing that. We work a lot with Kennesaw State. At the moment, they have over 1,000 students that are homeless. They have scholarships, but it doesn't pay for their room and board, and it doesn't cover their food. And so when we found this out, it was like, okay, what can I do that I'm already doing? How can I use my platforms? And I go to open mics all the time. You go to different things, and I'm like, okay, if we can get up at these open mics and sing a song or two, because we doing it just because of the love of music, then we can start helping other people. So I called on my friends and I'm like, look, just give me one song, give me two songs, you know what I mean? And I would do the majority of the songs in between because I'm asking you to do favors. So we one of the things that we started doing is not only was we giving them the money from the proceeds that we received at the door, but we started collecting various items. So we collected over 500 coats to give to them. We collected water. All these different things. But what started happening is other nonprofits started contacting us, wanting us to work with their organization too. So we partnered with I Will Survive and started getting them gas cards so that the cancer patients could get back and forth to their chemotherapy. And then we worked with, we sent over 1,500 bottles of water to Flint, Michigan when they had that water, situation. We've sent over 80 pair of shoes to Haiti. We just started working with a lot of different companies, and we would still, the core of it is we would give the door to Kennesaw State, and then whatever we collected, if we worked with other organizations, we would give that to them.
So how does someone get involved with your organization?
You can just contact us. You can go to artistrockthemic.com and sign up and let us know. And we need all the help we can get.
Artist Rock the Mic, MIC, Mike. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And that's for motivating individuals in the community.
So some people don't realize that college students are homeless because they see them on campus and walking through and sitting in classes. Everybody has a backstory, and they just don't realize that some college students are homeless, that their biggest thing is being on campus and in their dorms because they have some place to be. But once they have that break, the summer break, those winter breaks, they really don't have any place to go.
Yeah, let me tell you this. So what they do is called couch hopping, where they would go dorm to dorm, sleeping on the couches and everything. And the lady that I had ran into that contacted me, she was sleeping dorm to dorm, but she was also eating out of the dumpster from the kitchen area. And then she would go into the gyms and take her showers and stuff. And she made straight A's. Now imagine you trying to concentrate in school. You got a scholarship that's covering, the overall, but you don't know where you're going to lay your head, and you don't know where you're going to get your next meal to concentrate and to keep your scholarship. Imagine it. I went back to college, and I made straight A's, by the way. Magna cum laude.
There you go.
And the first Black president of the Golden Key High Honor Society,
Yes, that's right.
Right. Imagine if I didn't have a place to stay, and what you would do to concentrate, to keep your grades up so that you can keep going to school. Like, I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah, it's just so hard.
Yeah.
You are a best-selling author. Your books, Fear of Failure, Fear of Not Trying, it is so true. And Kai, the Koala and Friends, my niece would have loved that when she was growing up. It's a children's book. What or who inspired you to write those books?
Well, with Kai, that will be my nephew. He is 2 years old, and I wanted to create a book that the children could relate to and everything. But I also wrote a book called, this was my second book. It's called The Adventures in Butterland. And it is a spin-off kind of Fear of Failure, because Fear of Failure is talking to the adults and letting you know that you can get over your different fears and, to just go for it. So now with The Adventures in Butterland, she's overcoming, in this episode, she's overcoming fear and doubt. And my goal is to turn it into a series, and each series she's going to be overcoming different things,
Oh, wow. So not only are you a best-selling author, but you also have a podcast, Transparency Talks. What is it about, and when do you air your show? Okay,
so Transparency Talks podcast, we get transparent with people in the music and film industry. I'm gracefully in both, right? And so I can ask the tough questions because people see the glitz and glam of everything, but they don't understand, like, we have our issues, we have our problems, we have our downtime, we get depressed, it's a lot of different things that we also do, but you only see the glitz and glam, and at some points you can't talk about it because you see us one way, and that's the way we're supposed to stay. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to have a mask on, in the public and everything. So I'm able to ask those type of questions because I'm in their shoes. I know what it's like. You don't have a backup plan when you're singing. Like, I fell in 2019 and dislocated my my shoulder, torn meniscus, torn ACL. You can't do paid time off, So it's like, what are you going to do when you ain't got that money and when you can't pay your bills because of such and such, or when COVID happened? Like, I talked to Tony Terry, who's a good friend of mine, had him on my podcast. What are you doing now that COVID is happening? Because I know you're not torn, because I'm not torn. You know what I mean? So I'm able to really ask the real questions that we really want to know, And so I started Transparency Talks podcast in 2020. It was just something to do because of COVID. Couldn't go nowhere. I was already out of commission for a whole year in 2019 because of my fall. So during the fall is when I created my books, and we started my boys magazine, Defiant One's Teen magazine. And then I got released to be able to go back on tour, and I was headed on tour in Africa for April, but in March of 2020 is when the world kind of started shutting down. So the touring, I didn't even get to do that tour. So now, it's we on already a year now. I got another year to wait, So I created Transparency Talks podcast. Initially, I was just talking to my musical friends, and it started spreading like wildfire to the point now where I am on 6 syndicated stations overseas. I'm in London, Italy, Japan. Nice. Thank you. And then I ended up getting just recently picked up on Roku and on 2 other radio stations, and I'm on iHeart. And I mean, it's just been a journey that I didn't expect.
Everywhere. Well, you deserve every bit of it.
Thank you.
Just unbelievable. We're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be coming back and we're going to be speaking more to you about everything, because you're doing everything.
Okay.
All right.
International superstar, Miss
Hello, everyone. My name is Olethea Robinson, professionally known as Butterby Rocka. I'm an international recording artist, film director, producer, screenwriter, and actress. I'm a 2-time best-selling author and playwright, as well as the host of Transparency Talks podcast, which airs on 6 syndicated international stations in London, Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Africa, and Canada. I'm also a model. I've had the pleasure of working with Kanye West, Janet Jackson, TLC, Akon, Nas, Collective Soul, Zac Brown, to name a few. I was recently featured on Billboard's Hip Hop magazine. I was also a guest speaker at the Save Summit and was added to the Billboard, which was featured in Times Square with Miss Lynn Whitfield, MC Lyte, Mark Cuban, and Gene Simmons from Kiss. I performed at the City Gala with Wesley Snipes, Randy Jackson, Mario Lopez, and Les Brown. And afterwards, Mr. Brown became my mentor, and I worked for him for 8 months as his personal assistant. I also performed at the LA2 with Jack Black, Alyssa Milano, Sheila E., Bootsy Collins, and I came on after the legendary Miss Dionne Warwick. Last, I am the CEO, founder of Artists Rock the Mic Foundation. My mission is to bring creatives together in the music, film, and entertainment industries to impact change in the communities across the world. We work to encourage and advocate through the influences of the arts. We strive to integrate educational programs, benefit concerts, and charitable drives, giving back to the homeless college students. That's a little bit about myself, and I look forward to working with you.
We are back with Butterby Rocka discussing her journey in entertainment. You've added executive director and producer to your resume. Wow. Your stage play, I Cheated, So What? Was it hard to write the play as well as performing it?
It wasn't hard to write the play. With the play, I had never wrote a play before. And I met a play director from another play that I was in, and he was the director of it. And we start talking about music and stuff like that. And I said, I write deep music. And I sent him one of my songs, and he was like, well, this is a play right here. And I said, I've always wanted to do a play, but I don't know how to do a play. And he says, well, I can write it for you. And I said, well, I don't need you to write it for me. You can write it with me, because if I can see it, if I can understand it, I can write. I'm a writer. So we wrote it together. At first he wrote, of course he wrote the first half, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand formatting, and a song is just one person singing, it's just one form of dialogue. But with a play, you got multiple dialogues. You got people coming in and out of the conversation and stuff. So I had to understand that. But once I did, we was able to create the play. But like I said, we had a blueprint because it was based off of my song already. So, but it was really cool. I had Christopher Williams in it. I had Robert Curry from Day 26, Rico Barrino, which is Fantasia's brother. I had gospel artist, award-winning gospel artist, Demita Haddon. Yeah. Right. So it was wonderful.
Wow. You have a new play, Finding the Perfect Guy. I watched the trailer and I was so impressed with it. Where can I watch the entire play?
So that's not a play. That's actually a film. That's my very first
actually film. A film. Good.
Yes, that's my very first feature film. Again, while COVID was going on, now we in 2021, because it was shut down for a minute. Again, I got to be creative. I got to think of stuff. I got to create something. And so I always wanted to do a film, but I never knew how. And my way of looking at life right now is, if I can conjure it up in my mind, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it, right? Because life is short, and I don't want to be a coulda, woulda, shoulda chick. I want to be able to say, no, she lived. She set off and did everything that she wanted to do. Again, I don't have to. I might not make it, but nobody can say she didn't go for it, right? And so I wanted to write a film. And I wrote 13 episodes to this film. I was going to turn it into a series. When I found out the price of how much it was going to cost me to shoot all of these series, it was like, okay, let me dial this all the way back. So I ended up turning it into a feature film, and I had the premiere here in Atlanta, Georgia, at Studio Movie Grill, which is a real luxury type of studio place that does food and drinks and stuff like that. Oh, wow. I rented out the biggest night on the biggest week on a weekend, and typically indie films are shown Monday through Thursday. I said, nope, I want the biggest room. I want a big night. I want the one. And so we ended up selling out in 2 weeks. It was star-studded from Les Brown, and I had some BET executives in there. I had a lot of big music people in there. It was wonderful. And at that time, I didn't have distribution. But after we ended up getting all of the write-ups about us, and we start pitching it to different distribution companies, I ended up getting 6 different offers for distribution. We finally went with one. The film has been out now for 2.5 months, and I am on 15 streaming platforms. The first one that picked me up was Amazon Prime, then Tubi. I'm on Plex, Revel. I am on a station in India called Anoki. I am in Africa. I am in the UK now. So I'm just like, and it's only been 2.5 months.
You're here, but you're everywhere. So that's a good thing.
I'm still on a high from that, because I'm like I had a cast of 32, self-funded, and it was tough. It was so many setbacks, so many. I wanted to give up. So many days of crying. I lost 11 pounds. I was stressed, because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with just different things that you don't expect. And then I'm in a whole different genre, because I know music, I don't know films. I don't know, the ins and outs of films. I don't know all of the terminology. It was just so many things that I didn't know, but I dove right in. I did that YouTube University, to learn. And then, I'm directing, producing, starring in it. It's a lot. So,
Well, so you know what? Tyler Perry does it, so why
yep,
not? In
yep,
Atlanta, he does it, so why not? From
yep.
what I've seen, you're off to a wonderful start with this, and I'm not sure whether this is something I should be sitting and watching with my girls, or should I just be doing this by myself?
You could definitely watch it with your girls and y'all gonna laugh. But even if you watched it by yourself, you're gonna crack up and then you're gonna end up calling your girlfriends and you're gonna say that you should watch this. So, either one.
Well, you make acting look so easy. What do you enjoy most about acting? And what would you say are some of your most valuable skills as an actress?
Well, I think that when it comes to acting, if you can make it more relatable, if you don't talk a certain way, then why are you talking a certain way? If you don't, if that's not the way you do stuff, the more authentic you are to the character, the better I think it is. So for me, especially with my film, Finding the Perfect Guy, it's about I had been married before and got divorced, right? And now, what do you do when you now go back into the dating world? So that was natural for me to really do because half of the people that you're going to see that I dated in this film, I mean, it wasn't all the same people, but and I embellished, a little bit on the stories and everything. But it's not too hard to play that because it was stuff that really did happen. And
Well,
I
I
forgot
love.
what was your second question to that.
Oh, the second question was, what would you say are some of your most valuable skills as an actress?
My most valuable skills, I would actually say it's just being authentic and really learning those lines. Like that's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough.
I
It's
can
tough
imagine.
to get into character, learn these lines. I mean, I've been in other people's films too, which I really like too, because you're able to be a whole different character. It's one thing to write your own, but it's another thing to now have to see what somebody else is writing and be what they want you to be on their set for that person, for that character, and make that character come to life.
Well, I loved your uncle standing on the top of the steps with the
Oh,
shotgun.
he's just so funny. Because
I
everybody has an Uncle Bobby. Everybody has that one crazy family member. Everybody.
I got
You
two.
don't want to bring nobody around.
I got two. So there's no stage fright. What do you do before you step on stage? Do you USA, pray, or just walk out there with your fabulous self?
Oh no, please understand. She has stage fright. Trust me.
Really?
Yes. What's crazy is I can be in a crowd of 20,000 and I'm fine. I go in a small setting where it seems like everybody is looking at my every word and my every move. Oh my God, my heart is racing, you know. And then sometimes depending on how many big celebrities are there, I'm a
Hmm.
little bit more nervous, because you want to do good.
Well, do you feel like you're more nervous when you had written your own and you starred in it, or in somebody else's?
Music wise or film wise,
Well, music, I don't even want to touch that with you. I don't think that there's a problem with you no matter where you are singing, because it's just like you just float. That's just like your thing. And then watching like just it's like when you caress that mic, it's like it's just a pillow. And
yeah,
it's just so
it
soft. And I'm just looking, I said, I'm feeling this.
is.
I
Thank
can't sing for that. I'm a shower person. I'll
you.
blow it up in there. And not to say I sound good, but I'm comfortable in there. But you just seem to be so comfortable just there. And even just from the pictures, it's just like it just jumps off at you.
I
And I'm
appreciate
just
you
looking
saying
at it.
that.
Oh my God, it's just look, guys, she's not paying me to say this. I'm not just saying this because she's on here, but you have to look at some of the stuff that I posted. You'll see what I'm talking about. I posted those for a reason because that's the way that I felt. So you will definitely get that same feeling. Are there any actors you believe are role models? And if so, which ones do you believe are role models for you?
I love me some Angela Bassett.
Mm,
She has that grace and then I love that she's not afraid to take on different roles. She's not stereotyped into one thing. She can kick tail in one. She can be soft like a mama in another. She can be rolling on the river in another, the next one. And I really look up to her. I like Taraji as
oh
well.
yeah.
Like she don't play, and I believe she's like that in person. Never met her before, but I believe that, like, like I believe that she's extremely down to earth, and that she will tell you how it is and read you if she needs to read you, but she can also, be really nice to you and stuff. So
You pick some wonderful, wonderful ladies. Yes, I admire all of their work.
yeah,
So what makes a performance most believable? Is it the script or is it the actor?
I think it's the actor because I mean, you can have a great script, but if the actor doesn't make the words come alive, then it's not going to portray what you really want it to portray, you know.
Okay.
So,
Now, see, for me, when I watch certain shows and I say, "Well, I don't like that person," my daughter say, "Mom, you just hating on her." I said, "No, she doesn't realize that I'm saying it because they are so good, they're so believable
yep,
that you just don't like them."
yep,
You
yep.
know, and it's for
And that
that
makes it great. That
reason.
makes it great.
It does. It makes
Yep,
it. It does. It makes a difference for me. So I'm going to pay for something. I'm going to pay, and I'm going to watch something. I don't care if I hate you throughout the whole thing because I'm
yep,
going to remember you.
yep.
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to.
tell you what's funny about that. There. So in my film, of course, there's a bad guy. Well, there's a couple of bad guys, but there's this one bad guy that when he came on set, he was in character before he even got there. So when he walked in, he was in his character. When he did his lines, he was in his character. When he left, he was in his character. So much to the point that people was like, "Man, I don't like this dude," thinking that that's really how he is. He's nothing like that. So even when we did the premiere in the movie theater, it's more women than men in there. When I say the ladies were really mad at this man, like for real, and I said that means he did his job. That
Yeah,
means he did his job.
yeah, it gives you a reason to.
Yep.
I want to ask you something, and you might not answer it, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Did boyfriend ever go to the bathroom when he said, "I gotta pee," and he was going down the steps? I said, if he gets shot or blown up in the air, he ain't gonna make
Too
it.
funny. Did he ever go pee? That's too funny. No, he didn't make
Something.
it. He
I,
didn't make
I was like, "You gonna make it to the bathroom? Just let the guy make it to the bathroom."
it.
That was funny. If you had to do a remake of any movie, film, anything, which one would you do? And
Mm.
who would be? Well, let's just say, which one would you do?
I like the 5 heartbeats, and I love What's Love Got to Do with It. I like musical based, films that I know have truth in it. I love those type of films. I like Cadillac. Any of those type of films, put me in it. Let me sing, let me act, put me there. Yep.
You mentioned the 5 heartbeats. I love it. And
That's
what's
my
love got to,
favorite. Temptations. I,
yeah.
I love that type of stuff.
What's love got to do with it? I'm not even going to say anything about that.
I
I just fell
mean,
apart.
I
I
mean,
fell apart listening to it, and I fell apart just recently. I think the world fell apart when we lost it. So
absolutely.
I don't even know what to say about that. Sometimes I just want to punch people when I see that, like just to punch them for whatever reason. Tell me about, and I love it, Butterland. I just love it, Butterland. When I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm looking like, okay, that is her. That's her. And she's waking up, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, what happened? Did she get lost? What happened?
Yeah.
Tell me just a little bit about Butterland. I love it.
So
I love what it says.
that's a song, and the song is called Strange Love.
Okay.
But she goes into she's at a picnic in the woods with her man, and she ends up falling asleep. And when she wakes up, she's in Butterland, right? And hence butter. Yeah. So she's in Butterland. And so she's now trying to find her way through this forest. And I did like a Alice in Wonderland type of theme.
Yeah, I caught
And
that.
so you're right. And so when she touches, she sees a guy in the middle of the woods, the microphone, she sees, a whole band in the middle of the woods. The mic is not plugged up, but music is coming out, right? And so she's like, am I dreaming? And she touches him. And when she touches him, she goes into the hole as well. And then she comes up as a character herself.
I
And
love the
so,
music.
thank you. So
I just
she's,
love the music. I'm like, she's hitting it
thank
100%.
you. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
really did. That was something. Now, I'm not going to ask you to share the next 5 years of your life, but can you tell us what you're working on now?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So what I'm working on right now is I'm I have 7 IPs, which is intellectual properties, that I'm writing my projects on. So I have 7 films that I'm working on, but I'm writing on 2 of them currently. And in the meantime, I have started with my film production company. We are doing screenings. So we just had our very first screening this past Wednesday. And that is where, the best feeling in the world is to see your film in a movie theater on the big screen amongst all of the big films. And so when I had that experience, I wanted to open it up and let other people have that experience that might not be able to do that. And so we started doing screenings of listening to, having people submit their stuff. We picked some amazing filmmakers, and we just recently, like I said, just had our first event. We also had panelists. I had a music supervisor. I had a big casting director came out. We had he's the 3rd largest film production company in Georgia, Black man.
Wow.
And I also had a big actor come out that is on The Wonder Years, Black Lightning, BMF, The Wire. And so, we got a chance to not only see these films, but we got a chance to get transparent with these panelists, and I'm asking them a real question like, how do you really get on these films? What are you doing? What sites do we need to go to for this casting? Like, where are you pulling these people from? And how do we get our music on these stuff? So we was asking, some real questions for people that are brand new. And even if you wasn't brand new, I think people learned a whole lot, because you're hearing it straight from the source, type of situation. So we opened that up. It went amazing. And now our next one is going to be January 10th. As of today, we just opened it back up for submissions, and the tickets are now back on sale and everything. And I already know this one also is going to sell out because the first one sold out. I already know it is.
So let me ask you, are you a quick change artist? Because you're going to have to go from changing from one wardrobe for the Emmy, for your Grammy, for your Oscar, for your Tony. So you're going to be changing quickly, and that's going to be your year. I see it happen.
I am a quick changer. I do.
There you go.
I do cruise lines, right? I sing on cruise lines as a guest entertainer.
Mhm.
And we do have to do quick changes, ironically, on the side of the stage. We have our dresses already ready, opened up, and literally all we doing is stepping in, taking the next one off, and getting back on stage, and getting the show on. So yeah, I can quick change with it,
Okay,
and I see it.
You're gonna need to because it's gonna be happening. So them flights, red eyes, and everything else. Get that sleep because you can be going from place to place.
I received that. Thank you. I receive it.
You're
And it's
welcome.
funny that you said that because I had an interview earlier today, and she was asking me, where do I see myself, and what are my goals? And I said my goals is the Emmy, the Oscar, the Grammy. Like I see that for myself, and you have to see the stuff. You got to see yourself where you want to be. And so to hear you also say that, I receive it.
Well, you know what? Once that happens, people are gonna be breaking your door down to get the interview. I got the first one right now, so that's
Yes,
it.
ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
got the first one, so now y'all are all second. When did you realize that you made it?
So that's a tough question for me because I don't feel like I've made it. I feel like I've had milestones, stepping stones, but everybody has a goal, but you're never content with the goal because if you don't continue to grow, you're stagnant, right? So I might accomplish one thing that I had on my bucket list, but then now my eyesight is set for something else because you should always want to strive for more, to grow. And so I don't feel like I've made it. I feel like I'm just touching the surface.
Well, that was going to be my next question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to walk in your steps?
Oh man, you know what? It's just the start, because fear can stop you from everything. When years ago, I had 2 deals on the table, one with Warner Brothers and one with Sony. And I ended up getting into a car accident. And that car accident left me drinking from a straw for 6 months. It took me a year to come back out. And when I came back out, the deals were no longer on the table. And then I went to the third label that was interested in me, and they told me I was too old. I'm 18 years old at this time. But
Oh,
at that time, they had just started signing the Britney Spears, the 12 and 13-year-old. That was the big thing at that moment. And so I really thought that I had, you know, missed the boat. I went and got a job, got married, had kids because I thought I missed the boat. And then it was something inside of me that finally said, you can't let somebody else version or opinion dictate who you are. You know what I mean? If you want to write that book, if you want to do that song, you want to get that job, whatever you want to do, go for it, because nobody else is going to live your life but you.
Yeah, so true, so true. We sat here and we learned about Butterbee Rocker, the actress, singer, and producer. I want to go behind the scenes of Alethea Robinson.
Uh-oh.
What's a perfect Friday night for you?
Oh man, anytime with my kids and my husband is perfect. And I like looking at movies. But now I look at movies a little different because I'm looking at the lighting and I'm looking at all these
Being a
different
critic.
right. I'm being a critic with it.
You could.
But those are perfect. Anytime I can be with my family is perfect for me.
Wow. Now you've done it all, but there must be something that you wanted to do that you haven't done yet, that you didn't get a chance to do. What would that be?
I wanna star on some major films, not just my own films and not indie films. I'm ready to star in some major films. I'm looking forward to that. I know it's gonna happen, very soon, eventually. I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. And like I said, I'm definitely, I still have in my vision the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Telly Awards. I'm going for it all. Like I'm going for it all.
Oh, well, you got it all, and I see that. Tell me about the 3 most influential people in your life and how they impacted you.
Honestly, the most influential people in my life would be my mom, who is a go-getter all by herself. This lady is back in college. I swear she's been in college like forever. But she didn't went to school, like she didn't got so many degrees, it's ridiculous. But when she was getting her degrees, my grandmother, she was going back and forth to Kentucky. My grandmother had passed, my granddaddy in the time frame of her getting her degree. She had lost her brother, she had lost her sister, her mom, and her within the 4 years, right? But she maintained her grades and was working at a hospital. And hospital hours, it's like 12, 16 hours. And she maintained her grades. She stayed the course, and she still, graduated magna cum laude. So she's always been my
See where
role
you get
model.
it from, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely get it from my mama. And then my boys, I mean, oh my God, they have that tenacity about themselves, that they just going for it. And I love to see them just walking their own purpose. And then my husband, like, he is just super awesome. He's doing so many amazing things all by himself. So I look up to him when I see him doing all of the things that he's doing. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, you also have that teen magazine. Are your boys involved in that?
Yes, it's their magazine. It's called Defiant One's Teen Magazine. And I was involved in it when we first started it, and we was trying to figure out how to do magazines and stuff like that. And then they started taking it over, and we have people that come from Nickelodeon, that come from
I've seen the covers.
we have all of these big celebrities that have been in the magazine. But what makes the magazine special to me is that at that time, because now it's doing a little transition because they're not teenagers anymore. They're both in college and stuff, and they're older, or they're 20 and 22. But when we started it, they were teenagers. And so the magazine, not only does it feature the celebrities, but they talk about sex trafficking. They talk about the mental health and wellness of teens. They talk about financial literacy for teens. They talk about all these things that you really don't usually talk about. They talk about, okay, your GPA, and you can have all of these. You could be the best track star, but if that GPA ain't right, you're not going to get into no D1 school. So they talk about all these different types of things, and I love that. And then, like I said, we started having all these companies started contacting us to be featured in it. We even had the Miami Dolphins Alan Horn was featured in it. So yeah.
Well, I applaud them because young men don't usually touch on some of those mental health.
Right.
They don't. Human trafficking. A lot of
Yep,
them
we
do.
talk about that.
So that they don't usually do that, but for it to be coming from males.
Yep,
that's a plus.
and black males at that. Black males that aren't out there in the world doing the craziness, because sometimes what you see on TV, you only see us in one light, and they're not doing that. They're entrepreneurs, and they're showing that they can work together, because men usually don't work together, and they're showing brotherly love, and then they're showing a positive image, and that's things that we need. And so the goal of the magazine is to get into the different juvenile detention centers and even in the jails, because like I said, they are transitioning. So it's gone from just being Defiant One's teen magazine to now it's about to be Defiant One's magazine. So, they're in a transition stage, because my oldest son, he's third year in college, and my youngest son is just turned 20. So, they're not teens, they're men now. So, changing it a little bit.
Kudos to the both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
If you had to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
Mm.
Who would you play? Who would you like to play you? And who would be your leading man?
That's some good stuff right there. That is really good. Okay. My title would probably be The Comeback Kid. Because it's been so many trials and tribulations and setbacks. Like, it's been so many. And I've always believed that like Les Brown said, is if you can look up, you can get up. I really do believe that. And I'll get knocked down, and then I have to dust it off. I might have to sit there for a minute and catch my breath, but I'll get back up, and then I come back stronger because I learned from it. It's like, okay, all right, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready now. You ain't gonna catch me slipping this next time. So it'd be called Comeback Kid. And who would I have play me? I don't know who I would have play me, if I'm being very honest with you.
Yeah, you are.
Then the man, who would I want as the man? I don't know. I don't know.
There's just so many of them out there. I guess you would have to back up with the person who's going to play you, because some people don't gel together on the screen. They're good people, but they don't look like the people that would be together.
Yeah.
That's honest. Thank you so much, Butterby Rocker. It was more than a pleasure to sit here and talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate your show. I had a really good time, and you asked some really great questions, questions that are not basic questions, that really make you think and be like, okay. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey and doing all that you do. You're doing it all. How and where can people contact you or connect with you?
That is easy. Butterby Rocker everywhere, literally. BUTTABROCKA.
Wow.
You can find me on my website. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is Butterby Rocker. I made it easy for you.
Well, if you're interested in a song, you already know where to go. If you're just sitting back on one of those rainy days, you know what you can watch. And if you just want to thumb through a magazine, her boy's got you. We all have goals in life, things that we dream of doing or being. They may be small or they may require years of work. Don't dream your dream, just live your dream. Maybe a Butterland. Join us on Friday, November 17th, when we are uniting youth, and we're also uniting African-American entrepreneurs. So buy Black from the end, support Black businesses here on Basic Black After Dark at 8 p.m.
Thank you so much for having me.
Basic Black After Dark, the all-new podcast show with your host, Black Diamond.